Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. My name is Chinmaya and I welcome you to this video tutorial. If you are working on a GIS project, it's often quite frustrating to look for base map layers. Many times there is no other alternative except to painfully digitize map layers, and that might set your project back by days. Well, if this is the case with you, OpenStreetMaps, or OSM as it is popularly called, can come to your rescue and you can download a large number of base layers like rivers, forests, buildings, roads, boundaries, and much more completely free and in just a few seconds from the OSM servers. In this video, that is part 1, I will show you different ways to do that directly from your browser. And in the next video, that is part 2, I will show you how you can dig deeper into the OSM database and extract specific layers and features directly into the free and open GIS software QGIS. For this tutorial, my examples are from the Indian subcontinent, but all operations that I show here can be used anywhere in the world. So let's start with part 1. So one way to download OpenStreetMap data is to just simply type www.openstreetmap.org. I've given the link in the description box below. Just type this in your browser and you will reach the site. And then you can zoom in into an area of your interest using these zoom buttons or your mouse wheel, or otherwise directly type a search term right here. So you can just simply give either the address of a place or the name of the place. And if OpenStreetMap understands that particular place, it'll take you directly to that particular place. In this case, for today's tutorial, I want to zoom in into an area of central India, which is having a super thermal power station. So I'm going to come here and type in the name of that particular area in the search box. And the location that I'm trying to reach is Chandrapur Super Thermal Power Station, which is located in a town called as Chandrapur near Nagpur, central India. So once you have typed in the name of that particular location, just press the go button here. And when you do that, you will reach that particular location, provided OpenStreetMap is able to make sense out of what you have typed. So if it finds the name of the location that you have typed or the address of the location you have typed inside its database, it's going to take you to that particular location. And you can then just simply zoom out and zero in into the area of your interest. In this particular case, say for example, a water body and a coal mine is of interest to me. And I want to download all vectors. This could include boundaries for the lake and the mine. It could include roads, polygons for buildings, and these power lines that are going from the thermal power station to the grid or whatever. So if I wanted to download these vectors, I can just simply zoom into the view that best captures the area of interest for me. And then I can just come here and click on the export button. And this box that I'm seeing here is defined by these coordinates. And all I need to do is to just simply come here and press the export button. So when I do that, you will see that the vectors, which might include boundaries and roads and building tops and streams and rivers, all these have actually been downloaded here as map.osm in my download folder. And I can now use these inside my favorite GIS software. Let me just show this to you using QGIS, which is an open source and free GIS software. So once I've downloaded this, I can start my GIS software, in this case QGIS, as I was mentioning. And then I will just go to the folder which is having the downloaded file. And I'm just going to pick up this file and drop it into the GIS canvas. So the moment I do this, I'm being told that there are lines, multi-lines, polygons, and points, and I have a choice on what I can download. In this particular case, I want to download everything. So all of them are already selected. If not, you can just select a few of these, the ones that you want to download, and then go ahead and press the Add Layers button. In this case, I'm going to go with the default, and I'm just going to go ahead and press on Add Layers, and all the vectors of interest have been downloaded here, and I can go ahead and switch them on or off as per my liking. So you can see that these are comprising of points or nodes, and they are also comprising of lines, which are the vectors for the power cables, roads, and things like that. And you have all the boundaries for areas that are falling in this particular area of interest. So this is one way of downloading OpenStreetMap vectors, and you can then move ahead with your GIS project. One quick point of caution here, that these are all temporary files at this particular point in time. So you would have to just right click on a layer and go to export, and then save these features as a shape file. You can just provide a name and then just go ahead and press OK to save it as a shape file or a geo package or any other format in which you wish to save these particular vector layers. So this is one way of downloading OpenStreetMap data. What you can also do is to manually define. So instead of taking data for this entire view, you can manually define a small rectangle. You can do that by clicking on the export button, and you will see here a small link that says manually select a different area. So instead of pressing export and taking all of this data out, you can manually define or manually select a different area. So just click on this. So you will see a small rectangle, and you can then just say, for example, if I was interested only in this one single mine, I can then just manipulate this little rectangle to cover this mine. And if you see this grid on the top left here, you can grab hold of this grid using your mouse and then position this rectangle exactly where you want it to be. And once you are done with this, you can then just simply come here and press export. So vectors covering this particular rectangle which you have manually selected will then be downloaded as before, and you can drag them and drop them inside the GIS environment. So you can see that this is the new download that I had initiated, and I can just grab and drop it here, and the same dialog appears here. I'm going to go ahead and press Add Layers, but this time around you will see that vectors covering a very small area, the area that you had defined manually, have now been imported inside, and you can right click and save these different layers by exporting them into files like Esri shape files or geo package or any other file formats. It's important that you save them such that they are not lost, and you can then go ahead and perform more geographic analysis using those particular files. One point to note that I would like to mention here is that when you are exporting data like this, either for the entire view or for a small area, you don't have a choice of which layers you want to export. Everything is exported for you, and then you can then choose what you want to retain inside the GIS environment. You can delete some of the layers, save some of the layers, but then the whole package of vectors is transported or saved or downloaded for you. You don't have a choice on what you want to export. A little later, we will try to see how we can download only selected vectors inside the GIS environment. So let me just tell you about a few other important things. When you are exporting this data and you have downloaded this data, you need to follow the license conditions of OpenStreetMap. So if you click on the About button, you will see a good summary of what OpenStreetMap data is, and you will see that it relies on and encourages local knowledge. It is community driven, which means that it has a large number of volunteer contributors across the world who keep adding features. Most importantly, it is open data. So you can see here that it says you are free to use it for any purpose as long as you credit OpenStreetMap and its contributors. Now, how do you credit OpenStreetMap and its contributors? That has been given here in the license and attribution guidelines. And I will leave a link of this page in the description below. So as you scroll down, you have guidelines on how you need to attribute or credit OpenStreetMap in the projects in which you will be using OpenStreetMap data. There is an example also. The data is free and you are free to use as long as you are attributing them. How do you attribute them? You can read on this particular page. As you press the export button, you will also see that there is a link to the Open Database license. So if you wanted to read a little bit more about this license, you can click on this link and read about it right here. You will also notice that there are a few buttons over here, and one of the buttons that might be of some interest is this layers button right here. And if you click on it, you will see that you can change the way that this map looks by clicking on some options here. So you have a cleaner map. If you are doing humanitarian work, you may not need a lot of details that were present in the standard version, which is the default version. So you can just have a look at some of the other options that are available here. When you download or export, you will be ending up with the exact same number of vector layers irrespective of what you are choosing. This is just for your visual reference. So these are some of the options that you can explore here using this map layer button. This button right here helps you query individual features. But then when you click on it, you will see that if you are zoomed out, this button is not really active. So as you zoom in, you will see that the cursor has changed to an arrow and a question mark. And then you can click on any particular feature and details about those features and its relations become available here. So you can actually query certain features, zooming in quite substantially into the map. As you zoom out, you will notice that the cursor, which is a question mark, as you zoom in, then becomes unavailable, and you cannot use this button in a very zoomed out condition. This button, the map key button, shows you the legend of features that are displayed on the OpenStreetMap. So these are a few buttons that you can use right here, and this is one way of downloading OpenStreetMap data directly from the OpenStreetMap website, and it is downloaded in the OSM format. You can explore some other features that are available here. Now, one final thing I would like to point out regarding this button is when you zoom in and when you click on any particular area, you will see a lot of features that you can actually click on. For example, the region boundary or the area itself and other boundaries that you can find more information about. So if I was to click on this is the area of the thermal power station. So if I click on this, you will find a lot of information that has been stored about this particular feature inside OpenStreetMap in the form of tags. And you can see that this area has been tagged in multiple different ways by the contributor who has added this to OpenStreetMap. The land use is industrial, the name is this, the operator is this, plant method is combustion, plant source is coal. These are all called as tags, and they are comprising of two values. One is a key and one is a value. And I will talk a little bit more about this later on. But these can be noted and these can help you query this particular feature directly in a slightly different way, about which I will talk in part 2. So you can see that these are all tags that are associated with this particular feature, and is sometimes very useful to note down some of these tags such that you can identify these features directly. So this is how you can directly download OpenStreetMap data from the OpenStreetMap website or the OSM website. Now, this method of downloading OpenStreetMap data is good if you wanted small amounts of data, like the data that you can view through the area that is exposed in the window or a small rectangle that you can manually create. What if you wanted to download large amounts of data, like a region or a state or maybe even a country, or for that matter, the entire planet. So this site itself provides you with an answer. As you can see in the left pane, it says that if the above export, if you are pressing this export and the export fails, please consider using one of the sources listed below. So down here, OSM provides you with a few links that you can use to download OSM data at a very large scale. So let us just come here and click on this particular option, Planet OSM. The Planet OSM website is planet.openstreetmap.org, and you can see here in the first column that you can download the entire planet data, which is 125 GB, all the vectors that are contained in the OSM data in one single go for across the planet from this particular link. So this is a copy of the data that is updated every now and then, and as you can see, at the time when I'm recording this video, this data for the entire planet is just 4 hours ago. So this can actually be used to download the entire data in one single go for the whole world. If you come here on the right hand side, you will see that there are some extracts and mirrors, and we will just try to quickly follow these links here, one of which is geofabrik.de. So if we just click on this, we are taken to the GeoFabrik download, and you can see here that instead of the whole planet, you can actually download data for continents. So this is for Africa. You can download the entire data for Africa, and likewise for other continents, as you can see here. So you can click and follow these links. Say for example, if you were to click on Asia, we are then taken on to other regions of Asia, different countries, and you can then download data for countries in Asia. So you will notice that you can also download this data as shape files. When you click on any of these links, you will download a zip file, and when you unzip that file, you will find that inside the folder, different vector layers like land use, transport, waterway, buildings, etc., they all appear as separate shape files, which you can then directly use inside the GIS environment. If we click on India, we are further taken down, and then we see that we can download the data once again at a final level, which is the central zone, the eastern zone, northern and southern and western zones. So these are available right from here. If we click on the central zone, let us see if we can further get finer data. So that is not possible. So this is the end of subdivisions, and it says no sub-regions are defined for this particular region. So this is the limit to which it can actually go, and you can download this data for the entire sub-region or the entire country, as you can see here. And the moment you click on it, you will see that this download actually starts. I'm going to cancel this, and this is therefore a great tool or a great way, the GeoFabrik website, to download data in bulk for entire continents or entire countries or regions within countries. So this is the download.geofabrik.de website. I have included a link for this in the description below. Let us now see the other option here, and this option here is BBBike.org. And if you click on this, we are taken to another website, and this is download.bbBike.org/OSM. So here you have three options. Option number one is to download ready extracts for more than 200 areas around the world. So if you click, you will see that you can come here and download data for a large number of cities across the world. So say for example, if I wanted to download vector data for Chicago, I can just click here, and you will see that I can download this data directly as a shape file, and this is the size of that shape file, all the layers for the city of Chicago. As you can see, there are other formats also in which you can download data, but then if you're working with GIS, this could be one of the possible formats in which you can download this data. So same is applicable for a large number of other cities that you can actually click and download data for. If we come back again, the second option is that if you are not finding data preset data or ready extract data for the region that you are actually looking for, you can select your own region. So this is option number 2. And if you click on this, you are taken then to a map, and you can zoom in or zoom out to any region of the world, and you can then just click here. So when you click on this option, you will see a rectangle appear. Click on this rectangle once again, and you can increase it or decrease it. And if you click on this and hold it, you can move this rectangle to a region of interest. So you can even zoom out and then, position your rectangle. So in addition to defining an area using a rectangle, you can also draw a polygon freehand. So all you have to do is to click on this polygon. When it becomes blue, just come here and click on this add points to polygon, and then click on this one more time, and once again till it becomes blue. So you will see that there are additional points now on the edges of this polygon, and then you can just simply drag any of these points. As you drag them closer, you will see new points appearing, which you can then further drag and conform to a particular shape that you are trying to draw. As you drag a point, a new point is going to appear once again. So you can then drag that particular point, a new point has appeared once again. And so you can just keep dragging these new points that are appearing. And say, for example, I drag this point, a new point is going to appear here and here, and I can then drag those points. So using this technique, you can then, create a small polygon, and that polygon will then be the area within which the extract will get downloaded, rather than a purely rectangular area. If for some reason you wanted to move this entire polygon or adjust it a little bit, you can just come and click on this once again, and then just simply click on this 2 times, grab hold of the center, and then just move it as I've already shown you before. And then what you have to do now is to just simply come here and provide your email address and press extract. And the link for you to download this data will be sent to your email address from where you can download this data after this data is ready for you. So this is another site which is very, very useful. It is called as bbBike.org, extract.bbBike.org. I have provided a link to this site in the description below. So these are 2 other options that you can use if you are interested to download large amounts of data. You can either use GeoFabrik or you can use BBBike. And of course, if you wanted to, for some reason, download the entire planetary data, you can actually do this from here. So these are some of the options you can use to download OSM vector layers directly through your web browser. In the next video, that is part 2, I will demonstrate how we can query for specific layers and specific features directly into QGIS, which is an open source and free GIS software. I hope this video was useful, and I look forward to seeing you in part 2.